Texas high schools are split in 7 different classifications, 6A through 1A. 6A is the biggest level of football in Texas, where everything's already bigger in this state. This is what people talk about in the United States when they're thinking of Texas high school football, is that big 6A football.
I see you. I see you.
And this is where you see the most Division I recruits.
We don't do 95.
This is where you see programs with the largest fan bases, the biggest schools.
And when you play 6A Texas high school football, you got to be ready for every game to be close.
I think for a brief moment, right, there's the element of disappointment. And it's kind of weird to say, and you gotta be careful because you don't want it to bleed into doubt.
In my opinion, it was one of the best first-round playoff games of the season, in 6A especially.
We gotta go into this game. We gotta know that, hey, we know we are who we say we are, and we gotta come in there. We gotta win a game.
Oh, we back in the playoffs! Oh! Run in your trap! Run in your trap! Run in your trap! Stay on your trap! Oh! Don't clap!
Prosper and Coppell were different teams because Prosper's, the bread and butter of their offense was its offensive line. And Imhoff was great, and Lashaway was great too. But that offense that Coppell had was special. So it was, at the same time, amazing for Texas high school football fans because it was such a marquee first-round matchup, but also brutal because these teams both deserved to play 3 rounds deep in the playoffs, and one of them was going to have to go home in the first round.
Going into that, obviously we recognized, man, this is a good team. And I probably didn't realize, I knew they were 10-0, but 10-0 can look a lot different in a lot of different scenarios. Numbers don't always tell the story, and then you start looking at their team kind of as you figure out this is probably who we're going to play. And you're like, man, that's a talented group of kids. I didn't realize, again, how good this team was. And you're looking for that, that chink in the armor. You're looking for that hole. And we kind of flipped on, I won't say what game it was, and we're watching it, and that's kind of when it clicked, I felt like, for us of like, yeah, they don't give up much.
I feel like every kid has sat there in their backyard as a little one and just imagined, hey, having the 4th down in an NFL game. Well, I had my time come a little bit early. And the play just didn't go our way.
Your by-district champion, Colton.
Seniors, thank you so much for everything you gave to this program for the last 4 years. Right, no words that I can say right now can express my appreciation for the things that y'all done and the leadership you've shown.
I found my food last night.
Should I just go whenever?
Yep.
All right. I'm Braden Imhoff. I play quarterback at Prosper High School, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to be blessed and put in this situation.
Imhoff surveys, airs it out down the middle. This time he's got his man. Touchdown, Prosper. Imhoff fires on the slant. Touchdown. Imhoff on 2nd down and long. Fires right on the money to Latchley. Imhoff drops back, wants the big money. Down the hashes, pass. Touchdown, Prosper!
My morning routine, this whole off season, it's been gaining weight for me. I want to be a bigger quarterback, and I've kind of achieved that goal. The cold plunge, whenever I use it in the mornings, I use it for mental clarity because I know whenever I go into a practice or a game that I woke up and I already did something harder than people have done already. A lot of people get up and they roll out of bed. I like to do something that not a lot of people want to do in the morning, and I feel like it almost gives me a mental and competitive edge over other people. I know I fell in love with sports at a very early age. I mean, it was kind of just there. I just fell in love with the work it takes. I'm fully willing to be able to come out here every single day and work really hard to be able to get what I need to get and get to where I need to get to. And I feel like that's the love of it.
Now, Imhoff has great leadership skills, which you see on the field, but it really comes apparent in the offseason weight room, how he leads that team and the team rallies around him.
All right, hey, get your motor running. Get your motor running. Let's get some energy. Get something out of the day. Make yourself better today, Lathan. Nice little hairdo. All right, here we go. Up on.
Talent and ability and all of that are just building blocks. You know, yes, if you want to play in the NFL, if you want to play in college, there's a prerequisite, you know, that when you're, you know, best players, your hardest workers, you have a chance to have success and great culture. And
Braden Imhoff is a special player and is the preseason district offensive MVP. But I think even Imhoff would tell you that he can be the preseason district MVP because he is so protected.
How would you describe your O-line?
They're the best in the country, and I've always said that since day one.
At Dave Campbell's going into the 2025 season, we ranked Prosper as the best offensive line in 6A, and they're arguably the best offensive line in Texas. You have Zayden Krempin at left tackle, who is a Texas A&M commit, who is the number 9 overall player in the DCTX Hot 100. And then at center, you have Sean Stover, who is a Duke commit. And at right tackle, Bryce Gilmore, an Arkansas commit, the son of Brian Gilmore, who was an NFL veteran for about 8 years. It puts Prosper in an interesting position because if you are a defensive end, your Super Bowl is getting a sack on Zayden Krempin or Bryce Gilmore. And if you get one sack, you post that on your huddle, and that was an awesome game you had. But Zayden Krempin and Bryce Gilmore got to do it every single play, and no one notices until they give up that sack.
you know, I don't ever know if our kids really realize who Westlake is.
Good high release.
You know, I'm an Austin area guy. You know, Westlake is and was, as I grew up, the juggernaut. Like, it's the big dog in the Austin area. You know, the way people would react if you scheduled somebody up here like a Duncanville, or, you know, we already have Allen scheduled, but, you know, when you schedule those games, and guys like, are you sure? You know, that's how people in Austin react against Westlake. Oh man, you want a piece of Westlake? Okay.
It's very similar to college, where if you have a marquee matchup week 1, I'm thinking Texas versus Ohio State, you're gonna tell me that game doesn't matter at all? I think Prosper versus Westlake, whoever wins that game, it's a launching pad into district play, and it's a confidence booster.
My mentality kind of stays the same. I mean, I know what I'm ready for. I know what I'm going up against this year. I'm no longer the guy who gets their first start. I have a full year under my belt, and I know what it's going to take to win and beat these guys.
Braden Imhoff going into Westlake last year was a total unknown. This year, 365 days later, he is the preseason district offensive MVP for Dave Campbell's Texas football. So he has gone from complete unknown to total known. I want to see how he handles the expectations that come with that. Because last year he caught teams by surprise, but everyone's got tape on him now. Everyone knows his tendencies.
I would say practicing, when we start practice, as soon as we start practice, just going out there and working as hard as we possibly can, preparing for that week 1 against Westlake, a great team. So we're just gonna go out there, prepare, do everything we can to prepare, and go out there and win week 1.
And I feel like we are fully capable of doing that. I think we can go in there and I think we can win the game. They were the 6A Division I state champions last year, and they made it all the way that far, and yet I felt like we had them in the game last year.
So you see that, hey, we can play with anybody, but you also see, like, if you're going to beat those teams, there's no room for error. There's no room for mistakes, because they're not going to make many of them either.
I mean, you come in every year with the same goal. You come in every year with the same opportunity, and it's if you're going to capitalize on that opportunity. The goal's always been the same, but this year it feels a little more achievable. The goal is to win the state championship, and I feel like we're going to do that this year.
I've been told